Hello, all of you lovely people. One Creative Mind. Hello, hello. Treeleaf asks, what's a top clack? We're still trying to figure that out. When I find out, I'll let you know, though. I'll let you know. Chances are you'll know before me, though. Pio, hello, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Keeb Noob, always a pleasure. We are vibing. Is that pizza? I don't have any pizza, unfortunately. I had some pho. I pre-gamed this stream with pho. But hello, all of you lovely people. Welcome. Fairy Neon, hello, first-time chatter. Always a pleasure to have first-time chatters in here. Is the music too loud, guys? If it's too loud or too quiet, definitely let me know before I get started. We'll give it a few more minutes before we officially start here. Wait for a few more people to roll in. But thank you for showing up early, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. This is going to be a very interesting stream, I think. It should be pretty fun, though. Definitely looking forward to it. Hey, Visionaire. It's a pleasure to see you as well. Well, I mean, obviously I can't see you, but having you here is always fantastic. I am doing pretty well. I can't really complain. Things have been going pretty okay lately. Moderately good. Yes, we are lucky enough, fortunate enough to have Treeleaf in the chat, the legend himself. Pog is right. I don't know, Treeleaf. I hear you're pretty legendary. That's what all the cool kids say about you. And you know, if the cool kids say something, it has to be true. Pretty legendary, yeah. Not like super legendary, but like pretty legendary. Well, as more people start to roll in here, hello, welcome to Mental Health Monday. A series, an anthology, if you will, a saga, some say, where we kind of go through my entire keyboard collection and we do stuff. A lot of building, a lot of rebuilding, maybe some tuning, some experimenting, depending on how the mood strikes us, of course. We've accomplished quite a few builds already. Some of them need to be either rebuilt or retuned, but hey, that's just how it goes. One of my main goals of this kind of series is to try to get all of my boards as close to perfect as I can. A lot of you guys that build boards probably are under a similar assumption as I am, to where once you complete a board, it's just not always as good as you were hoping for. I mean, it's not necessarily the board's fault. It's not necessarily, this or that. But sometimes you finish a build and there's one or two minor things that you might want to change, or maybe you're not completely sold on the lube you used or the switches you used. Maybe one of your stabilizers is starting to act up. Maybe the sound wasn't just quite where you wanted it. This happens almost 100% of the time when I build keyboards. I know, to any of you that are maybe newer to the hobby and you see a lot of build streamers building keyboards, and it comes out and it sounds incredible, and they talk about how good it feels and this and that, and I'm not knocking any of those builders and streamers, because I mean, obviously I think a lot of them do a pretty good job, but at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people tend to sugarcoat things, and maybe sometimes the board isn't quite as epic as it sometimes seems, and I'll be the first to admit the transparency there. I'm not always 100% happy with my boards. A lot of them come out quite well. We're arguing minute differences at this point, honestly. Preference, of course, as well. Buyer's remorse. I mean, that's one thing, but I don't necessarily mean that per se. More just, I think different boards, different builders, and different scenarios require different things to be, a specific way. Sometimes, like the way that you want, for example. Because obviously, once you build a board, you want it to be to your specifications, right? You want it to be the way that you envision it. You know, you buy a nice fancy keyboard and you get some fancy switches and you tune those up and you're really proud of it and you're excited and you go to build it and you want the outcome to be fantastic, right? You want it to be pleasurable. And that's totally understandable. And while that does happen for me sometimes, it definitely doesn't happen all the time. So, you know, as many boards as I've built and as many boards as I've streamed being built, I think that sometimes you just need to revisit a lot of boards. You know, sometimes boards take 2, 3, 4, maybe even more times to build before you settle on a configuration that works the best for you. And I think that's totally fine. And I kind of strive to, nowadays, I don't necessarily want to say perfect each board, because I feel like perfect keyboards are kind of a myth in some way. And I think that striving for perfection ultimately kind of hurts your experience in the hobby. I see it almost every day, in fact. And something that we don't really talk about enough, but I'd like to. But yeah, so I want to try to get my boards as perfect as I can, to where I'm like really like genuinely happy with every one of my boards. Because right now I'm only happy with maybe only a handful of my boards. A lot of them are going to wind up getting rebuilt. And that's just kind of what we're doing here. Because, you know, keyboards are expensive and people put a lot of time and effort and other resources into designing and manufacturing these boards. And I think it's worth noting that most, if not all of them, kind of deserve our respect. And, you know, it pains me to have... Let me just try to find an example here. What do I have here? I have quite a few boards that are just kind of not up to par, even though the boards definitely have a lot of potential, but I just haven't got around to rebuilding them yet. My Polaris, I feel like could use a rebuild. My E6 V2, perhaps. You know, there's just my IDB60. There's a lot of boards that could just really benefit from a breath of fresh air, a new lease on life, if you will. So that's part of why I'm doing this. But also, of course, another reason is right there in the title, Mental Health Mondays. This is kind of a series where we talk on and off about mental health issues, some that I'm going through, some that you guys might be going through, some that others might be going through. We want you to know that this is a safe spot, right? It's a safe place, and we want you here. You know, even if your life isn't exactly perfect, maybe you've been struggling with mental issues and you've just been afraid to speak out, because a lot of people are, because society likes to beat down those with mental health issues. You know, talking about how weak they are and, you know, how inefficient of human beings you are, for lack of a better way. And I don't really think that's the case. I think that people are different, and we can't really always generalize people, especially just human beings as a race. I think we can't really generalize entirely. Everyone's different, and we require different things to be happy, be healthy, and be comfortable. And that's something I think we all have to keep an open mind about, and just have a little bit more compassion for our fellow humans, right? So many people are just too mean, too toxic, too hostile. I'm not about that. We want to be happy here. We want to be comfortable, and this is a place where you can be yourself. We welcome everyone here. We don't care if you're a person. Awesome. Get in here. Always chasing endgame. I have some thoughts on endgame. I think endgame, while it does technically exist, I think everyone uses it in the wrong context. You know, someone will build like 3 boards and then all of a sudden their third one is their endgame board, but in reality they haven't tried 99.999999% of what the community has to offer.
Ooh,
and you know, because of that, I feel like people's perspective often gets skewed. The reality is this hobby really does benefit you a lot more the more like knowledge and experience you have in the hobby. So, like, you never really... I mean, it's just like life, right? You never know what you're gonna like the most until you try it. That's just kind of a reality. And, you know, with keyboards, it's no different. A lot of people, you know, they use their first board or their second board or their fifth board, and they're like, it's my end game. It's amazing. And it's great. If you love your board that much, I think that's awesome. I think a lot of us, that's kind of what we're striving for in the hobby. But calling it end game, I feel like is too profound a term To me, endgame means you've tried everything that the community has to offer, and you have settled on exact specifics in every scenario and format that will dictate like your best experience. You know for certain what you like most out of everything. And how would you know that if you haven't tried everything? I haven't tried everything. I know you guys haven't tried everything because there's just too much stuff to try. With that said, if people want to use the term, that's fine. That's just my opinion on it, my thoughts on it. Such a chill stream. Thank you so much, OCM. Appreciate that, man. These are the vibes I'm after. Same. I've been pretty busy the last several days, and I'm not always like super busy, so like I get exhausted pretty hard when I am busy. So today's kind of like one of my unwind days, where I can kind of just chill. I was lubing some switches, and now I get to assemble a lovely board, which we will get to momentarily. Thank you for the patience, guys. I know I've just been sitting here ranting for a little bit, but we will be getting to the build pretty soon. It should be a relatively simple build. Don't have any desoldering to do, or soldering, rather. This is a hot swap build, so it should go pretty smooth. Stabilizers already lubed, switches also already lubed. And I guess while I'm pointing things on my desk, I could just swap over to this view. But before we get started on that, let's do a quick recap, of course, on what happened last week. So last week, this is what we put together. This is the polycarbonate Sirius. This is the production unit. With a palm plate, we have some lubed Gateron linears in there, milky top, with some 74-gram springs. I'm pretty positive those are from Novel Keys. I'm pretty sure the switches were lubed with GPL 105. It was a long time ago when I lubed these, a couple of years, I think, so I can't entirely remember, but the switches are really, really good. They feel really, really super duper good. So pretty happy with how the build came out altogether. I think it could sound a little bit better. I think in this particular configuration, the palm kind of mutes the switches a little bit. Looking back, I might swap out these switches. I think these switches are really good, but I think these switches need to be in something like carbon fiber, or maybe even like a metal plate. But that's sort of Future Me's problem. This is a board that will probably wind up revisiting sometime along the line in these series, but we'll put it kind of towards the back of the queue so we don't have to repeat things too frequently. So yeah, the board came out pretty well. I love the way it looks. It feels wonderful. Palm feels fantastic. The switches seem pretty fantastic as well. Stabilizers came out pretty well on this board. Overall, this board actually came together super well. Doesn't quite sound the way I was hoping, but I definitely don't think it sounds bad either. It came out pretty darn good overall. So pretty happy with that. We have GMK DMG on there. You guys voted to put the accents on there as well. Came out quite lovely. So pretty happy with that. So that's what I've been using the last week. And there's the update on that. And this is what we're working on this week. I'll go ahead and say goodbye to Chi real quick. This is what we'll be working on this week. So this is the packaging for the RamaWorks Kara. This is a round 1 unit. I know the round 2, or sequence 2 rather. He likes to call them sequences, sorry. Sequence 2 is shipping currently. This is a sequence 1 that I was able to get for group buy pricing. Shout out to Frostfire for selling me one of his. I think he got a couple of them. So he sold me one at group buy retail pricing. Very, very happy with that. So yeah, this is an unused, unbuilt model in the Azure colorway, so it's kind of like a very light blue. I have actually unboxed this already. We did a very brief unboxing and kind of looked at it at the tail end of last week's stream. But we'll, of course, be getting into it this stream. There is an assembly manual, which I thought was kind of cool. This is very Rama, which I think is super awesome. Just have like an actual printed manual for all this stuff, which is pretty cool. For what it's worth, I've never actually watched a build stream or like video or VOD on how these are assembled. So this is kind of me flying blind, but we do have the manual, so hopefully that'll be good enough. And I'm sure you guys probably know at this point better than I, since you guys have probably either built one of these yourself or seen someone else do it. So maybe I have to rely on your wisdom today. Another thing to point out is I have some masking tape here. So we might try a tape mod. I know this is not like the wider versions that a lot of builders and streamers use. I didn't make it to the store today, so I wasn't able to get the kind of wider tape. But this is still masking tape, and though it might take you know, a couple runs over the PCB, we can try this for a tape mod. I also have packing tape, which apparently a couple other people have tried. and seem to enjoy. For what it's worth, I actually did try to put some packing tape on this board the other day after I heard a couple people had some success with it. I don't really notice a huge difference personally, but that's just me. Could be the tape, could be the board, who knows. Anyways, chances are we'll probably wind up trying this. The cool thing about the tape mod is, you know, it's very inexpensive, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to undo, and a lot of people seem to think it makes a pretty enormous difference in a lot of cases. So I'm still a little torn. I haven't really tried it yet. I haven't given it, you know, a full run of experimentation, but this today will definitely be one of the moments where we can give it a shot and just see if it makes any difference in today's build. Regardless of whether it does or not, we'll probably be trying more tapes and more boards with tape in a future stream, because I do kind of want to sit down with a bunch of more entry-level, more, you know, cost-efficient boards and tape up a bunch of them and see what kind of difference we get. So anyways, hello, now that people are starting to roll in here, hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing fan-freaking-tastic. Ray L3798, thank you so much for the prime, man. It is very kind. The Right PC, first-time chatter, hello, welcome. Says, endgame is only temporary. But they're like, why call it endgame, right? I don't know. I don't know. I get a little triggered about it, but I'm also kind of stubborn, and I will admit that. I know my opinion is not law, nor does it need to be. Shun88 says, you're my endgame. That's very kind of you, man. I'll be your endgame. If I'm anyone's endgame, I feel like that's winning at life. Ozzy Obsessions, good morning. Good morning. Says, how are we all traveling today? I'm doing pretty well. No traveling for me. Right here at home, in my office. Talking with you lovely folks, of course. Gwilad, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. We came for the rants. The boards are just a plus. I'm okay with that. Oh, also, I kind of want to show these off, too. I just got these hydro flasks in. These Mechanisk branded hydro flasks. Shameless plug. Mechanisk is a sponsor. Not only a sponsor, but Leandrin over at Mechanisk, one of the nicest, most genuine people I've ever met in the hobby. Really right up there with Mike from Novel Keys. You know, those two are the big standouts for me with genuineness, what's the right word there, of people in the hobby. So this is a collaboration with Hydro Flask, which is one of, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not an expert on this, but this is definitely one of like the nicer like drinking water bottles you can get. Hydro Flask tends to be like kind of one of the nicer brands from what I hear. We got the lovely little Mechanisk logo on there. So I've been using this. This has been my water one. He also gave me one of these, which is pretty cool. So this is like a different style. This has kind of like a fancy gasket system in there. But this is kind of more for like your hot drinks, maybe like coffee and tea. These aren't stocked in the store yet. I think they probably will be at some point, but honestly, I have no idea when. But regardless, these are freaking awesome, and I was very excited to get these. So yeah, shall we start diving right into this? What color Kara are we building? This is an Azure. How do you guys pronounce that word? Like when you see that word, how do you pronounce it? A-Z-U-R? Azure? Azure? I always put a lot of emphasis on the U because it sounds fancier to me. Azure. It's my awful French accent. Visionary says, I think I'm approaching endgame. I'm definitely slowing down and purchasing because I found some real avenues that suit me well. Yeah, and that's great too, right? I mean, that's the kind of knowledge and experience you want, to be able to fine-tune the boards to like your specifications. But you know, at the end of the day, like, you haven't tried everything, right? Like, no one's tried everything, and I feel like trying everything is a big deal on the quest to endgame because there's a lot out there. You know, I went through a similar thing, right? Like, you know, you're new to the hobby and you're just trying to go through boards, and that's what I try to do, at least. Experiment and find what you like, and, you know, oftentimes the board that I got was better, in my opinion, than the board I got last time, and you never really know what's good until you try it, right? Static H, thank you so much for the 6 months, man. Appreciate that. You, sir, are a scholar and or a gentleman. Says, I took a page from your book this past weekend and rebuilt my Romeo. It feels so much better with some fresh Gat yellows and 67-gram springs in it. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I mean, if you're not happy with the board, why not rebuild it, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of the times, as silly as it might sound, the boards kind of deserve our respect. And, you know, if you're paying money for it, you're putting in the time and the resources for it, you know, why wouldn't you try to make it, you know, as good as it can be, or at least as good as you want it to be? Too many times have I had very, very nice high-end custom boards just sitting on my shelf that I just wasn't fully happy with. And that's something I definitely want to change. Anyways, yeah, we should get into this now that I've been live for like half an hour. So yeah, this is kind of a pseudo unboxing experience since we have taken this open before. But yeah, here's the kind of lovely packaging here. Kara, 60% Rama Works branding here, and it has these kind of cute animated figures of people working at their desks with Rama keyboard products. Nice little sleeve there. I actually had no idea about that until I got the board, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cute. So then here we have the main packaging. Picture shown with what I'm presumably are supposed to be the Kate profile, which I'm still kind of anxiously awaiting. Good stuff. Thick manual. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of thick, right? I think there's, like... Is it in different languages, too? There's a table of contents. Hold on. There's quite a bit in here, right? Like, not everything is... We'll take a look through this kind of as we go, but not everything in there is just necessarily for building. Okay, none of this has actually been unpackaged yet, so... Here we have a cable, and then kind of all of our fastening hardware, as well as a switch puller in there, which is good. You kind of want to. I like to see switch pullers included with hot swap boards. This is the kind of iconic Rama Works feet, which is kind of just like a I don't know, a silicone strip that goes in the bottom, a la the M60A as well. It's also worth pointing out that while my Kara kit doesn't come with a weight or a silicone dampener, I do have a weight in my M60 that is compatible with this, because it's kind of a one-size-fits-all affair. So we might actually try a weight in here as well, just to see what happens. So yeah, the foot system there. We have a PCB here, HHKB of course. Wilba PCB, you love to see it. It's always good stuff. We have the SMD RGB, and it is hot swap. Very nice. Daughter board as well. It's already kind of plugged in there. This, we did actually open this already. So this is the plate and what I believe they call the mute mount, which is kind of like a silicone dampener that rests between the PCB and plate. Kind of like foam in some boards, but unlike foam, this one actually affects the mounting as well. So the plate actually kind of sits in here, has some raised edges. And I believe it kind of just clamps down once you have the switches in with the PCB. But we'll kind of get there. I'm still not for sure how to build this, so we'll go through the manual and we'll cross the bridges as we come to them. So yeah, that's everything in the box there. It's pronounced Azure. Thanks, man. I pronounce it Microsoft Cloud Services. Oh, golly. Oh, golly. Alright. So let's go ahead and crack open this manual and kind of see what's going on here. We can save the feet for the end. We can put those on at the end. That's okay. PCB we'll probably need quite presently. And this is the Azure. And it's actually, I'm going to be honest with you, on stream it's like way bluer. IRL, I think it's quite a bit lighter of a blue. It's almost more like teal to my eyes in person. Again, I'm like kind of colorblind, and I'm really not known for colors. So, you know, bear in mind that as well. But this is very much kind of like a light blue, very, very light blue. To me, it's more of a teal in person. On stream, it really does look bluer than it is. I tried to mess around with my lighting a bit, but I just couldn't really figure it out in time. It does look nice on stream, though, and it does look nice in person. It's just a little different in person. So yeah, there is that. Go ahead and crack open this bad boy as well. Reuse or recycle. Nice, nice. Great to see several first-time chatters in stream as well. Welcome. Hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. Okay, so here's our switch puller, which I have a bunch of these already, so I'm not too worried about that. Cable, which is cool. Love seeing USB-C braided cable. Rama branded right there. That's good stuff. I won't need that, but good to see that kind of stuff included in starter kits. Here we have the mounting hardware, which there is a little bit of, so we'll get into that shortly as well. Try to drink some more water from my fancy Quakemz hydro flask. I say it with a voiced SH, like Azure. Azure. I like just saying Azure. They're in stock on Quakemz. The hydro flasks are? Are you sure? Quakemz. I was under the impression that nothing was in stock yet. Like, he hasn't, like, technically reopened yet. Like, the site's up, but, like, nothing's in stock. Maybe I'm crazy. They might be available at, what is it? Yeah, Tastator. That's his Norwegian store, but, like, his main, like, global store, Quakemz, I don't think stocks them yet. Same site, just new URL. I don't think it's like the same site. It's like under the same brand, obviously, but I think this is specifically if you're in Norway, whereas Quakemz is global. At least that's what I've always been told. Meat mount? Kind of. It's very meaty. So I think the plate is polycarbonate, for anyone curious. I'm pretty sure the whole kind of affair is injection molded polycarbonate. And this is kind of just the floppy silicone mute mount. There is no IRL, only AFK. I wish they released that on-stream color as an option. I know, right? It wasn't my first color choice. I really would have liked one of the haze units, that kind of like deep purple haze. I thought that was really cool, but I'm definitely okay with this color as well. It's just a lot lighter than I was expecting. Alright, step one, how to open PCB, because apparently I'm just not smart enough for this. Did you give your impressions on last week's build yet? I did. Yes. The short of it is, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it came out quite well. The sound, I think, could have been a little bit nicer, but overall, I'm relatively happy with it. I'm unsure of whether I'm going to be changing anything in the future. There's definitely a chance we will revisit and rebuild that a little on down the line, but we'll wait to see. Okay, so got the PCB. Let's start going through this manual. How about that? Because I really have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. We're using Okamochi switches today, by the way, which are a variant of T1. So it is a JWK/Durock tactile switch. Pretty big bump. These are lubed with 3204 and GPL 105 on the springs. These are also unused, so I didn't actually steal these from another board. These were kind of just sitting around, and I found them, and I was like, oh, I should lube these. So we're gonna try these today, but these are pretty cool. So this is actually I think, at least correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the first JWK switches that does feature a full nylon housing. So we're seeing a little bit more of that lately with things like the Lavenders, the Ceruleans, and I think in some others as well. But this one also features full nylon housing with a palm stem. Don't build it with a silicone dampener. Are you sure? I think I kind of need that for mounting, don't I? Isn't that like actually integral to the case itself? Maybe I'm wrong. I've never built one of these or seen one built, so this is kind of new to me. Quakemz Poggies. Thanks, Nick. Hope you're doing well, man. How's your brain doing this week? I'm a little exhausted, but you know, not necessarily in a bad way, just like in an exhausted way. So yesterday was kind of like a resting day where I was doing some switch lubing and stuff, and then today is kind of like a resting day as well, and then back to work tomorrow. Try without it. We could maybe try without it. I don't know how well it's gonna work though. Like, I think it's not like foam, right? Like, it doesn't just rest between the PCB and plate. There's actually like grooves where things like rest in and stuff. I don't know. Do people build Karas without the mute mount? Is that even a thing? Has anyone seen that happen before? Because I'm very curious. Same mounting system as KBD67 Lite, is it? I thought that was a little different, but I could be wrong. Is that the same people who make the Fiel? I'd love one of those. Blue looks so good. This is not the same people that do Fiel. So this is the Kara by Rama Works. The Fiel is by Mechanisk. I still haven't built a KBD67 Lite. I'm in the market for one, so I'm trying to find one. But you know, until I do, this is our next kind of you know, budget board build. So anyways, yeah. So these are the switches we're using. Okamochi's, lubed them already. They feel quite nice. I have no idea how they're going to sound in this build, but hey, sometimes you need to just try things. So let's go through this manual together, guys. Just kind of see what it's like. So here we got basic dimensions is kind of the first section, which we don't really need to know. That's cool. It's included though. Here is kind of what's included in the entire kit, which is great. So we have, of course, the enclosure, the back plate, the little rubber feet strips, then a bunch of mounting hardware. There's quite a bit of mounting hardware in this particular board. Quite a bit of it. Then you have, of course, one of the mute mounts, one of the plates, PCB, a daughter board, a little JST cable. And some accoutrement. Let's see. Silencing stabilizers. What is... I haven't seen this yet. Stabilizers can be loud, rattly, and off-putting. Here are some tips and tricks to reduce the sound that is produced from a stabilizer. From this guide, you'll need silicone grease. To further reduce sound, you'll need some extra items. So this is it kind of like a stabilizer tuning guide, it seems? Which I didn't use. I did lube these already. The way I normally do, which generally comes out pretty well. But it looks like if you don't know how to lube, then this is kind of like a stabilizer lubing guide of sorts. So that's kind of cool. And Rama was kind of the pioneer of the heat shrink mod, which, if I'm being totally honest, I haven't tried, but I know didn't go over entirely well. I know quite a few people were unhappy with it, but maybe it did work for some. It seems to work for Rama, which it should be good enough for him, I suppose. But it is an optional step that he has kind of... he's touted for the last, I don't know, couple years. Silencing the keycap itself. Oh, interesting. What is this? I haven't seen this yet. The keycaps, which require stabilizers, are bigger than keycaps which do not require them. That's true. This means there's a lot more empty space, which allows sound to bounce around more and amplify the sound which is produced by it. Foam can be cut and placed inside to reduce this space and further silence your keyboard. And then he has a link to what looks to be an online guide on how to do it. But this is kind of interesting. So he has kind of a picture of just quite literally installing foam in a space bar. I suppose we could try that. I have some Silverstone silencing foam that could be cut for that purpose, but I don't know if we'll quite need that. We'll see what happens. Now we're on to the build guide. So we're already, you know, a quarter way into this manual, and now we hit the build guide, which is kind of where we need to be. All right, so it looks like stabilizers go on first. So we'll go ahead and put some stabilizers on first. Do I have a bookmark here? Oh, here we go. We'll use one of these community stickers as a bookmark. Do we want to use me? Probably not. We won't use me. We can use Mech Merlin. I'm probably gonna use Diego. I think Lightning has the best one. Use Taya types. I'm gonna go with Lightning. Shout out to Lightning. One of my favorite keyboard streamers. There's our bookmark. Stay hydrated. If you're required to use the silicone thing for the mounting, then how do you configure it if you don't want that? What do you mean? If it's used for the mounting, then you don't configure without it. You just use it. It's just part of the build. I mean, think of using, like, the Baka Neko, for example, right? Just a tray mount, but it uses the O-ring around the edge. Imagine not using that O-ring. It'll just sit in the case and do nothing. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, so again, I'm not sure. I haven't built with this yet, so I really don't know exactly how it's going to go, but at least from the way it looks, the mute mount is actually very much part of the building process, and you need it because it kind of it applies pressure along the internal, like, edges. Chewy's is good. Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty good, honestly. I still need to get a frame for the poster. ALXBN, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime there. Oh, that wasn't Twitch Prime. That was a genuine tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. All right. So let's go ahead and apply the stabilizers first, as the guide suggests. We'll just kind of build with the guide and see how that goes. We'll go ahead and take this connector out just for now, since we don't really need it at the moment. Stabilizers. I need some screws for my stabilizers. I'm just like swimming, no pun intended. I am just swimming in ultramarine stabilizers. Every time I get like a random package from Mechanisk, there's just like a bunch of stabilizers in there too. Like, if you keep sending them to me, I'll keep using them. Is a poster we can buy somewhere? I don't think you can buy it yet. I believe it is coming. I have no idea all the vendors that are going to stock it. I imagine mykeyboard.eu will be the primary stocker of the poster. But I have no idea other than that who might stock it. I wouldn't be surprised to see proxies, which would be awesome, because I think it's a really cool thing, right? Like, don't get me wrong, things like keyboards and key sets are obviously like the bread and butter of our community, but it's nice to see community projects that aren't those things. And especially one like a poster like that that's like kind of just more or less hand done by a community member. Shout out to Crash. It's just super awesome to see, right? It kind of immortalizes a lot of the people in the community, which I think is just super awesome. Visionaire, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. You are fantastic, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. You're far too kind. These are V1 Ultramarine stabilizers, in case anyone is curious. I do have some V2 left still, but I wanted to use up some of the V1 as well because I have way more of those. And honestly, when they're tuned properly, I don't really notice a huge difference. They both kind of feel and sound totally fine. The V2 maybe are a little bit better, but I really have no issues at all with the V1s. Sir Mr. Quakemz, what kind of stabilizers? Oh, I just answered that. I didn't even see that question before I got out the answer. So there you go. Ultramarine V1 from Mechanisk. Or Mechanisk. I've been saying Mechanisk more, but I used to say Mechanisk. I used to exclusively say Mechanisk, and now I say Mechanisk. And I am embarrassed to say that I don't really know which one it is. I feel like even when I spent time with him in person, I don't remember him ever actually saying the word. So maybe I just haven't heard it yet. Duroc V2s are much better, most because it's much harder to pop a wire. I believe it. I've legitimately never had a wire pop on any Duroc stabilizer of mine. The only time I've ever had a stabilizer pop was on Zeal stabilizers, the V1s, because the V1s were notorious for popping out. But I was always kind of able to just like get in there with some tweezers and put it back in without having to desolder. Because of course I'm just really good at what I do. I'm just so amazing at life that I just exude alpha Chad energy and I can fix problems like that. But jokes aside, I mean, if people are having issues like that, totally fine. Obviously, you don't want those issues, but you know, if people are having those issues and the V2 addresses that, I think that's pretty cool. Definitely don't want stabilizers popping out. With that said, again, that's never been a problem for me. Wires never pop out for me. It's been, gosh, I don't know, at least 2, 3, probably 3+ years since I've had a wire pop out, and I'm pretty positive they were on Zeal V1s, where I've had it happen, like, I think twice with Zeal V1s. KeepNoob says the only wire pop I had was a Duroc V1, and it was because my cat stepped on my split spacebar. She chonky. Hey man, you gotta give the chonky kitty some love. Some good shout out to Chonky Floof. Never had a V1 pop until I mentioned it after the V2s came out, and then I had 2 or 3 pop within a week. Oh my gosh, now you're scaring me. I mean, this will probably be like my 5th or 6th or 7th time using specifically the Mechanisk Ultramarine stabilizers, and none of them have popped on me yet. Okay, so we got those in. I think I'm gonna test them real quick, or do I? I'll wait until we kind of assemble more to test them. I think maybe that'll be better. Okay, so those are just the screws for the stabilizers, so we got that in. Now we apply the mute mount, the mute mount and the plate, or just the mute thing? I think it's just the mute thing. I think I just put the mute thingy on. I'm gonna be honest, this guide is maybe not the most clear, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay, then we have some fasteners that I guess go in here. Oh, I kind of see how it works. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I have some kind of, I guess standoffs is what we should call them, that I go ahead and put in some designated spots. And then I think we put the top plate on, and then we kind of screw them in from both sides, sandwiching them. I'm almost positive that's how it works. Again, I'm sort of flying blind, with the exception of the manual. Oh man, little Torx wrenches. Even these are Rama branded. How freaking cool is that? I love Torx. It's good stuff. Okay, so I believe these are the little fasteners that we got here, and we go ahead and we just put them in all of these spots. Three, 4, 5, 6. So I think there's 6. Oh wow, is that an Overwatch sample in my playlist? Heck yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe that's all the spots. It's all the ones I had. So there is that. Okay, so we got those little kind of standoffs in. All 6 of those. Now we need the 6 M2x3 T10 fasteners. Which ones are those? Let me warp back to the table of contents here. Okay, so it's also these ones, I believe. It's the shortest ones. Don't worry, guys. I'm probably smart enough to do this. Whoops. Alright, the M2x3 T10. Pretty positive it's these ones, and we'll use this little included Torx wrench as well. We put those in here. Those go in from the back. And then we put the longer ones into the front. And then switches go in. Okay. I think I get it. I think. Also, going back to the poster, something I like is that it covers a lot of different streamers across a lot of audiences. Like, if you're in the Keeb community, there's probably someone you like on there. Yeah, there's lots of them on there. And it's not even just, like, streamers either, right? Like, there's a lot of vendors and some homages to designers in there as well. Really cool stuff. It sort of embodies, like the community, like, right now, right? There's a lot of, like, popular people, like, right now. It's very, very cool. IKEA, like, manual? I mean, I don't know. I've just never really been good with, like, these kind of manuals, I guess. It's nothing against Rama. I need everything explained to me like I'm 5, apparently. Okay, so how do I do this? Do I just, like, turn this over and expect these not to fall out? There's no way, right? What's the strat here? In the picture, it looks like... Oh, wait. Does he have the plate on the picture? Maybe this is how you do it. Maybe the plate actually just holds it in place. I don't know why I wouldn't use that. See, I overthink things with the manual. I'm like, okay, what should I be doing here? Like, wait, that doesn't quite make sense. Okay. This one's not entirely centered. There we go. Alright, let's give this a whirl. These are some tiny, tiny screws, so I really hope I don't lose these. We'll just do it like this. Or not. Okay, I'm not going to use this. That's just more difficult. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so the mute mat kind of like holds them in place, I guess. I don't know if it holds them in place tight enough to be like screwed in though. Maybe there's like some kind of like... Am I crazy? Maybe I'm just using the wrong ones. Are these maybe these are the ones for the top. And then these are the ones for the bottom. I'm gonna move the case temporarily. So we can get at the rest of this. Sachieri, hello. First time chatter. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're winging this build and we're hoping things work out. Okay, so these are the really, really small ones. These are quite obviously the case screws, which just look fantastic, by the way. God, those look so good. And then I have a couple different kinds in here. What are all these for? Yeah, 10 of those. What did those go to? CS, oh my gosh. We're gonna get there, guys. I promise. Wait a minute. I'm not missing something, am I? I think there's a lot more screws listed here than I actually have. So we got the 4K screws. We have the 6 standoffs. We have the 6. I'm assuming these are the RWFT T10 fasteners because they look like the absolute shortest on here. And then we have 10 of whatever is in here. Which is probably 4 of one thing and 6 of another. I can't tell the difference between these. These all look the same to me. I think that's a bad thing. These all look exactly the same to me. This build is making me feel very stupid. Is one of them longer? I think one of them is M2 by 4 and one of them is M2 by 3. Of course, it's a video game post. It is. Yes. You had troubles building your thermal. We're gonna figure this out. I don't think I'm missing anything, right? We have the 6 standoffs. We have the 4 main screws. We have the 6 of those. So we got 3 of the 6. I feel like I'm missing something. I really feel like I'm missing something. Maybe I'm just crazy? Trying to find out what these other screws are for. Sorry, guys. I have to be missing some screws, right? I'm so confused. Like, I do not have this many screws. Right? So we got 10, 16, 20. We have 20 screws plus 6 inserts. So if we take away the 6 inserts, there should be 12 plus 12. There should be 24 screws. Why do I only have 20? I think I'm missing some screws for this. Like, I genuinely might be. Am I crazy? Has anyone else built one of these? Two by 3 T10s. Those all look the freaking same to me. Well, this is quite interesting. I didn't, like, drop something or lose something, right? Okay, how am I supposed to do this? Can these go in from the top? Maybe these go in from the top and I just can't quite read the guide correctly. But I still feel like I don't have enough of whatever the heck I need. Okay, well that screws into the top. We're gonna We're gonna figure this out. If I'm missing something, then I'm missing something, and I'm kind of screwed. But maybe I'm just like reading this wrong. So we're gonna kind of try some different things here. Because these seem like they go into the top pretty easily, even though it doesn't look like these are the ones I'm supposed to be using, at least judging by the pictures. But I don't know. We're gonna find out. So that uses a different works here. Why not search a YouTube video? Because that would be like smart. I think I have this figured out. Oh my gosh. Row Shaggy? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Not giving up hope yet. It's like this seems to work. These seem to work. Hopefully I'm not butchering this, and hopefully this still has a chance to come out well. I think we'll be okay. I'm staying positive, guys. Staying positive. Or my hair looks so wacky right now. I look like a hobo. I don't know. This might be right. I have hope, guys. I have hope. Rama even made a video? Yeah, I mean, I could resort to that if I need to. I'm not trying to, like, pretend that I'm, like, too good to look at a tutorial video or something. Because the reality is, you know, I'm not. But okay, so we got 6 screws there in the bottom. So maybe I'm just like kind of misunderstanding the guide. And we're about to have all 6 in the top as well. So there we go. Looks like that actually came together. So I guess I was just being silly and not really understanding the sizing of the screws on the guide. But I still, unless something's already screwed in somewhere, I feel like I'm still missing something. Maybe, I think these 4, maybe these will also go to the, these probably go to the daughter board. Professional strimmer, by the way. Don't worry, guys. We're getting there. We're getting there. If your screwing is wrong, then I don't want to be right. Thanks, man. Will GMK Lime be going on this? No, I don't even own GMK Lime anymore. What the heck? If it fits, it fits. Good enough. Good enough. Pro streamer. That's right. Professional streamer, guys. Except I do not even come close to making a living off this. Don't say that. He'll unfollow. Okay. I think I'm making progress here, guys. So it looks like this is right. Those are all kind of screwed in now. Let me double check, make sure they're all these are in tight enough. But this looks, I'm gonna say promising. I'm gonna use the word promising. This looks promising. It's also very warm in my room right now. So if I start sweating, I'm sorry. It's a little warm outside. Okay. I mean, this feels pretty stable. Fun fact, I haven't actually tested the stabilizers yet. I should do that now. Give me a few switches. Only 3 stabilizers, so less chances for failure. Am I right? Okay. And I think the next step is actually like genuinely just to put switches in. I'm assuming these 4 go to the daughter board. These 4 quite obviously go to the case. And I guess I don't need anything else. I have no idea, by the way, what keycaps I'm putting on this. I think I'm just gonna steal some keys from this board. Shoko? I don't have Shoko. I have Shoko round 2 on order, but it hasn't arrived yet. I have no idea when Shoko round 2 ships. Sounds like a time for a keycap pull. Well, we're not ready to put keycaps on yet. And also, I should have thought about that more first. I don't even know like what sets I have available. I have to look. We can always take something off another board. That's fine too. Don't mind the beard hair. It's just, you know, normal streamer stuff. All right. Alright, not too bad. We like that. We take that. Hydro? Oh, man. I wish I had Hydro still. Ugh, I really do wish I still had Hydro. It's one set I regret getting rid of. It's Hydro. But hey, it had to happen eventually, right? That's not true. It didn't have to happen. I don't know. I don't even remember why I sold it. Probably because I needed money. Hydro's a pretty awesome set, though. I saw Lightning recently use it on a stream. Equinox XL, and man, it really reminded me of how awesome Hydro looks. Okay, so we got case screws here. Presumably daughter board screws right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick them in here for safekeeping. Tape, we're still contemplating tape, but that's probably gonna happen. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and put more switches in, and then figure out how to get this assembly into the case itself. Let me make sure this is right here. Okay, so we got all the screws in theory. Now it's time for switches, and apparently they put keycaps on before they build. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I might assemble then put keycaps on, unless there's just like absolutely a reason I have to do it that way. Okay, we'll put the switches on. Are the screws for the... Wait, what the heck? Did this just come out? Did this just pull out? Alright, that just like fell out of the guide. Page literally fell out of the guide. Unfortunate. There's my case. Are there screws already in that? There's not screws already in the case for the back plate. Again, am I missing screws? So I have the these gotta be for the daughter board. These have to be for the case. But what about the inside here? What's holding the back plate in? Oh, there already are screws. Okay, perfect. That's what I was looking for. Okay, that's good to know. I thought I might have been missing those four, but I'm not. Good to know. All right, we're making progress, guys. I know it's slow going for a hot swap injection-mounted board, but we're getting there. This is an experience that I'm going into blind. To be fair, I don't know if anyone really knows when their GMK sets are arriving at this point. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just... That's kind of how it is right now. Although on some good news, actually right before the stream, I actually got my notification for GMK Modern Dolch Lite. So very, very cool. Got shipping notification for that. That is quite exciting. IMO. These switches are going in pretty well. You'll love to see that. Trader Joe's frozen croissants. Oh my gosh, are those good? I don't think I've had those, but you know your boy loves Trader Joe's. Is regular Moto meant to ship alongside Light? I can't recall. I doubt it, right? Didn't the second round of Modern Dolch run after Modern Dolch Light? That's true. You are French. If I'm gonna trust anyone in chat here with a croissant, and I know I'm not saying that properly, so I apologize, but if I were to trust anyone in chat, it would be you. Trader Joe's does pretty good stuff. I've very, very rarely been disappointed with a Trader Joe's product. I feel like that sounded like I bent a pin, but I totally didn't. I'm genuinely in love with this playlist. It's so good. Fresh baked ones. I mean, fresh baked anything is great, right? Like, if you've never had, like, genuinely fresh bread, it is a world difference of an experience versus, like, bread that isn't freshly made. You guys are making me hungry. I had some pho before the stream, but that doesn't really fill you up for very long, right? There's only so much broth and rice noodles that can keep you full for. And that's why I'm a fat American. Fresh bread is OP. Where do I buy my bread from? It depends. We actually, I get a lot of my bread from Trader Joe's, to be honest. But we do have some bakeries in the nearby area. Shout out to Sly's Bakery in Paulsbo. Love that place. It's a little pricey, but you get really high quality products. What switches are these? JWK? Yes, these are a JWK switch. It's a T1 variant called Okamochi's. Okamochi switches. They, as far as I'm aware, is one of the first JWK switches to use an all nylon housing. Stem is palm, of course. But yeah, all nylon housing. So hopefully these sound okay. I have no idea what this setup is going to sound like. I've heard several people tell me that the car is not going to sound very good at all. Some people say it sounds alright. So we'll see. Kind of the cool thing about this is, even if the switches turn out really well, and I think I did a pretty good job with the switches, if I'm being honest, even if they turn out well, since this is a hot swap board, I can always just take them out of here and put them in like maybe a soldered build or something, something I might like to sound a little bit more in. So we'll see. I was planning on using actually some just some retooled blacks that I have laying around. But I want to break those in first, because I think I'm going to break those in, I'm going to lube them, I'm going to film them, and I think those are going to go in my tinned, which I recently desoldered when no one else was looking. So I took the lavenders out of my tin. Those went in the Heine TKL that we built, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago now. And the tinned is going to be outfitted with some nice retooled blacks. Once I want like... That's, like, definitely one of my nicer and, like, more favorite boards, I guess, in my collection. So I definitely want, like, something awesome, like, for that build. And I do love lavenders, don't get me wrong. I think lavenders might even be, like, one of my favorite switches right now. But I think in a build like the tinned, I think you just can't really go wrong on that carbon fiber plate with some nice lubed cherry MX blacks. If I can get them good enough, those are definitely going to go in there. But felt like showing these switches a little love today, a little tactile love in the Cara. We'll see. This could sound terrible. This could feel terrible, but I won't know until we do it. And that's just part of the keyboard journey. Just beard hair removal, part of everyday life. Heine TKL so lit, it is, and it's definitely one of the nicer boards I own and have used. Absolutely, I love the Heine TKL one. In fact, I kind of want to use it like right now, but I've been using this week. One thing I will say is when you have an assembly like this, where it kind of has not necessarily just foam, but like a material between the plate and the PCB, as well as standoffs, so you can kind of screw in both sides together and it all just holds together like this without the switches. That's really, really efficient for putting in switches. It feels a lot nicer. You don't have to worry about like things like shifting at all. It's all kind of just there and stable, cohesive. I like that a lot. Helps the building process a lot. Friendship broken with Gateron. JWK is my new best friend. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Gateron, too. Gateron makes a lot of really cool switches. In fact, I mean, a lot of them better than a lot of what JWK offers, honestly. Gateron is legendary in the keyboard hobby. And, you know, it's a switch that a lot of people just go back to, right? Gateron linears are just often touted as the best value in the hobby for switches, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. Plus, Gateron has a lot of nicer like new switches that are kind of coming out now. I mean, they've been trying a lot of different things. The Kangaroo switches I actually thought were relatively successful. The Gateron Silver Blizzards, which are newer as well, very interesting switch. Looking forward to getting some more of those in. And obviously, the Ink series went over pretty well, especially the Ink Blacks, of course. At least in V1, I know some people are kind of shaky on the V2 inks, but you know, the V1 went over pretty well at least. Gator Ron switches, they bite. Oh my gosh. When are we gonna see a Gator Ron themed switch? I mean, that's just par for the course, right? You have the Gatoron plushie. Why not have a Gatoron themed Switch? I'd buy some, especially if they were like decent, right? I like the Kangaroos, but they're expensive AF. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of like the newer Gatoron Switches are a little bit pricier, but like I feel like that kind of still follows like the market structure in the sense that like JWK switches like aren't like super cheap either. I mean, they're not like Zelios where they're like $1 a switch, right? But like they're starting to creep up there, right? You know, most of them are between like 55 and like 85 cents per switch. So I feel like a lot of the newer ones are starting to creep up there a little bit in price, but you know, Gateron switches are kind of following suit. So I don't know. I think as long as a switch is like good, like genuinely good, I don't think like upwards of $1 a switch is like totally out of the question. Like I'm usually willing to pay that, like provided the switch is good. Because like if you're buying like expensive keyboards anyways, like why are switches the place you're trying to save money on like a multi-$100 build? That just never made sense to me. Like, oh, I have my $600 keyboard, and I want these, like, nicer switches, but they're, you know, 60 cents each. Maybe I'll just buy, you know, 20-cent Gaterons instead and save, you know, $10 or $15 over the course of my entire build. And it's like, why not just spend the extra $10 or $15? You already spent $600 on the keyboard. You're going to be putting a $150 or $200 keycap set on it. Why are you trying to save $10 off the switches? Like, that... I don't know. To me, that never made sense. But... you know, it is what it is, I guess. Different strokes for different folks. It's like the PC community, right? You buy a fancy CPU and motherboard and GPU, and you get a bunch of RAM in there and a nice SSD, and then you cheap out on the power supply. Like, why would you ever do that? I mean, switches are like the lifeblood of a lot of builds, too. And, I mean, there are a lot of good, cheaper switches out there, but, like... if you want something specific, and like you want one of those nicer switches, like just spend the extra $15 and get them. If you like genuinely can't afford a couple more dollars, like then the scenario changes, and I mean, maybe you shouldn't be in the hobby to begin with if you know you're having that kind of trouble. So I got a couple switches to spare. I'll leave a couple just in case. I only needed 60, so it's HHKB. So if a couple of these are bad, or I don't like them quite as much, I can swap those out. Look at that. It's kind of nice, actually. All right. So we got our switches in here. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure they're genuinely all in. All right. I never liked the overpriced switches. Tried every brand except TTC. Yeah, fair enough. I think there are a lot of pretty decent switches on the market these days. Some of them more expensive, some of them less expensive. Price, I feel like rarely has like a serious impact on like how good switches are, right? Like oftentimes with keyboards, more expensive keyboards are better. To a point, right? There's always a threshold of diminishing returns after that. And with keyboards, at least in the past, that's usually around like the $300 or $400 mark. Like once you start to cross that, you get pretty diminishing returns. Very few boards scale like in performance and pleasure with price at that range. And I feel like that, especially with a lot of like the more entry-level and budget-friendly boards we've been seeing lately, like boards like the Kara that we're building today, boards like the NK65, the KBD67 Lite, the Baka Neko that we checked out a few weeks back. Those boards, while they're often not as nice as like, the really premium $400, $500, $600 custom boards, they do give you kind of a big slice of what custom keyboards can be about at like a very low fraction of the cost, giving them like a way better performance per dollar, which is a metric I like to use. Okay, so we got all the switches in. Let's see where we're at now. Where are we at now? So they suggest putting on the caps now, at least in this particular guide. Caps go on right after the switches. I don't think I'm going to do that yet, though. I think I'm just going to wait on the caps and do them at the end. But I think I can just go ahead and put this into the case. Trying to like find something to hold this open a little bit. Okay, so here's what we do. We take the top of the case, it looks like, and we probably unscrew these. I think we unscrew these. If we can. Alright, there we go. These are really tight in here. My gosh. Alright. I too am a big slice, are you? I respect a big slice. I don't have a $600 board yet, but I understand your point. Yeah. My gosh, why am I not able to... Hold on, wait. Does one of these work? I think I need some more leverage is my issue. Sheesh, these are really in there. Oh, alright. Got that one started. Alright, much easier with a little leverage. Turns out when it's very warm, my hands get sweaty. And it's hard to freaking keep a grip on this thing. Okay, so those 4 screws go to this kind of backplate thing, but I think this is also part of the mounting, right? I think I take this off and I put this in here. And that just kind of sits like so. And then this goes back on, I believe, and it kind of overlaps there. Yell at me if I'm doing this wrong, guys. Just yell through your monitors naturally. A little behind in chat too. I'm sorry, guys. I do appreciate all you guys talking though. It's always nice to have chat to look up to. Currently working on a stylish budget build as we speak with Gats, says a first-time chatter Iron Keeper. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining the chat as well. What are you working on? What's the stylish budget build? I'm kind of curious. What is your opinion on Akko Pinks? I have not tried the Akko switches yet. I know it's, if I'm remembering right, it's a relatively inexpensive switch. Definitely kind of in the very budget arena. If I'm remembering correctly. But I have not tried them yet. I will pick some up, though. I haven't really heard much about any of them, to be totally honest with you. I haven't really heard like anyone talking about them or anything. Shout out to all of you Animal Crossers out there. You might recognize this tune. So how does it stay in the front? Is it just like pressure? So we got the back plate on, we got the screws in, which I think is like mainly what I needed to do here. Now we put the daughter board on. Then we can... Should we put the weight in here, guys? Let me try putting the weight in here. Alright, looks like daughter board is next. So let's go ahead and throw that on. The bottom, of course. I didn't need to swap that. What the heck am I doing? Shout out to all you Final Fantasy VII enjoyers as well. Cosmo Canyon. You'll love to hear it. Treeleaf asking if I own a Kepler. I did, but technically Jay owns it now. It's actually, you can't see it, but behind me I have two boxes of keyboard stuff already packed up, and I'm sending to Jay. So I don't own the Kepler anymore. Technically, he does. I thought the Kepler was really cool, but it's just too big and heavy for me. It's like, it's one of those like things that you like show people and you're like, here, hold this. And it's like, it's beautiful, but like it's not really conducive to me, like the way I use keyboards. It's like the kind of keyboard you need to like set on your desk and like never move it. But I swap keyboards out at least once a week, so it's kind of obnoxious, if I'm being honest. It's a really awesome board. It's just, I much prefer the much smaller and lighter, but still very hefty FC65. But more importantly, I'm kind of hoping for a 60% version at some point. I can't help but think this is slightly overthought. Why not just a simple top or bottom mount? I don't know, man. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know. Maybe this is easier, right? I am not a designer in any sense of the word. And Rama literally did that for a living. So I don't know, man. I don't really know. maybe this is just cheaper. I don't really know a lot of like the ins and outs of injection molding plastic. All right, should we try putting the weight in here, or should we try? We'll try it without first. We can always just put it on afterwards. Shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, we'll skip that process. So now we need to connect the JST, and then we kind of snap the bottom in place. And I'm guessing that snapping has something to do with holding up this part of the PCB. Maybe like there's extra pressure there because of these kind of grooves in the front. Then we'll put the feet on last. So JST, plug that in, and then we snap the bottom on, and then we screw it in. So it looks like we're getting there. We're finally getting there. Alrighty. So it kind of just snaps on. It rests back here, but it snaps in the front. Okay, we got a little snapping there. I think that was successful. Now we can go ahead and throw on these big, beefy bottom screws. I really like these. These are, like, really gorgeous to look at, even. Oh, you know what I should have done? I should have tested... I guess it's not that big of a deal. But I should have tested the switches before I started screwing this fully together. Just to make sure I didn't bend any pins. I don't think I did, but that would have been the right thing to do. It would have been the good habit. Okay. I think that's oh, we'll put the feet on. Put the feet on next. And I think that's it. The rest of this is just how to use VIA, I think, and maybe other random things. So I think we're actually done with the guide. Very light, as you can probably imagine. I guess they were going for something different feel-wise. I guess we'll see, yeah. It's unfortunate Akko also makes clone caps. Oh, do they? I had no idea, actually. I don't really know much about Akko as a company. So the mount is weird. It looks to be held by the back plate at the back and by the junction of top and bottom parts of the body in front. Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely unlike any other keyboard I've ever built, I think. Shout out to I1A for this desk mat, by the way. And yes, it actually has like a gradient color. This isn't just me being bad at lighting, even though I am. So yeah, we might try the weight in here as well. Let's go ahead and open up Switch Hitter and give that just a test real quick. We're setting up RamaWorks Kara. That's what you love to see. Oh yeah, lighting. That's a thing. Anyways. Set up and ready to go. Okay. I'm assuming this is the secondary. I could just open up VIA and look, actually. Oops. Open up VIA real quick. I'm assuming this is just another function key, if I had to guess. But we'll open up VIA and take a look. This one's not registering, but I think that's just because it's a function key. This function key is working. Okay, yeah, I'm right. This is also just another function key. So I'm going to program that to something else real quick, just to make sure it's doing something. Okay, yeah, it works. We're good. We're good. We're good. Put tilde in the top right. There we go. Okay. All right, we're good. We're good there. Everything's working. Nice. All right, well, we can put some keycaps on it. Oh wait, let's put the feed on first. We'll put the feed on. Another switch puller. Trying to keep all my spare Rama stuff in one spot so I can put it all back in the bag. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll put the feed on, and then we'll decide on some keycaps. I have no idea what keycaps I'm going to use. I need to actually look and see what the options even are. See if there's even something to put to a vote. Do I own an FC65? I do not. I would love one. I think the FC65 is phenomenal. I was actually there at the Seattle meetup when he had the prototype, and I think it went over pretty well. The prototype didn't actually have the forged composite top, however, it did have a red aluminum top, and I think it had an aluminum plate as well, and it was still a really, really clean, sexy build. J-Shop, thank you so much for the 500 reading the instruction bits. Thank you so much, man. I think if I didn't look at the instruction, the build process might have actually been easier for me, but I think I took it a little too seriously. Okay, let's go ahead and hopefully not completely destroy these. Okay. This is way easier than I remember it being on my my M65A. Very nice. Jealous of that color. The board looks gorgeous. It's a shame Sequence 2 doesn't have it. Yeah. Again, just, you know, if you're just joining in now, the color on stream is a little bit more blue than it is in person. In person, the Azure, I feel like, is a little bit more like teal. But it is a nice light blue. All right, we got the feed on there. Very nice. Again, we can put some we can put the weight in. I do have a weight. It's in my M68 now. We have to take it out there, but that's pretty quick. It's only a few screws. We can put that in here if you guys want to try it. Maybe that'll change the sound. We also haven't taped it yet. We could tape it. I got some masking tape here. I know this isn't as thick as we might want it. That's not a sex joke either. I know it's not as thick as we might want it, so we might have to use a bunch of layers, like 4 or 5 instead of just like 2 or 3. But we might try the tape mod for the first time today. Let's try the board without the weight, without the tape, and just see how we like it, and maybe we can see how much we can change it. Once again, shout out to our lovely sponsor, Mechanisk. Straight Chroma, hello, thank you, welcome, thank you for joining us. Happy Mental Health Monday. The car looks great. Thank you so much. Happy Mental Health Monday to you as well. If you guys aren't already following Straight Chroma, you definitely should. Definitely one of the better streamers we have in the community these days. Brings the energy, brings the hype, but is also very positive. I love to see it. Noelle would probably fit well. You think so? Noelle would probably work. We used Noelle on the Bakaneko a couple weeks back, though. Maybe we should try something else. Let's take inventory real quick. Let me see what keycap sets we can consider here. Tape mod time. We're getting there, Osiris. We're gonna try it au natural first. No tape, no weight, but we'll get to that. Okay. DCS Nightfall, which I still really want to put to use, but I don't think this is going to be the board for it. We got Cat Lich, which I have still not put on a board yet. I was thinking, how about like GMK 8008? That could be kind of cool, right? I got Cafe, but I don't think Cafe is the play on this board either. As much as I love the set. Oh! How about GMK Cyan? That's a set you don't see too often. Dual Shot could be an option as well. Do I have a mod in chat? Is Lunar still here? Can you make a poll for me, Lunar? If you would be so kind. We'll do Cat Lich as an option. We'll do GMK 8008 as an option. We'll do GMK Cyan as an option. I think Dual Shot could look cool, but maybe Dual Shot's too dark for this board. These three sets for sure need to be on the list. Those three sets for sure. 8008 I'm not entirely sold on. Thanks, Lunar. Appreciate it. Nightfall would look sick. You think Nightfall would look sick? Would it? I don't know. I feel like I don't know how Nightfall's so dark. Should Nightfall be an option? I don't know, man. I'm not sold on Nightfall on this board. I think Nightfall's super awesome, but I don't know if this is the place. I don't know if this is the place for it. Dual Shot would look sick. I think Dual Shot could look pretty cool too. Let me see what else we have here. Yeah, we'll go with these three for sure. I guess we could put Dual Shot on there too. Let's put Dual Shot on there. So it'll be these five options, I guess. I don't know. I'm not convinced Nightfall is for this one. I'm just really not. I'm also worried about how the sound might be. Oh shit, that's actually pretty sick. Okay, all right, we'll add Nightfall to the list as well. All right, well, you've convinced me. So these are the five options here, guys. Cat Lich, GMK 8008, GMK Cyan, GMK Dual Shot, and DCS Nightfall. Those are your five options. Lunar's going to make a poll right here that you guys can vote on out of those five options. So we have five options across three different keycap profiles, which is pretty cool. So Cat Lich, it's going to be an option. Just give Lunar a minute, and he'll get a little poll up for us, and we can vote on that. I literally just put one DCS cap on there and started smacking it, and it sounded pretty fun, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. Is the DCS set ABS? Yes, it is. I don't think very many PBT DCS sets even exist. I think only like 1 or 2, right? I think almost all of them are ABS. I don't know how Nightfall is going to look, but Nightfall could sound very cool. Never tried the profile before, but it seems cool. Yeah, DCS is pretty cool. DCS was like really hyped when I was coming into the hobby, and then it just like died out and everyone forgot about it. It reminds me, it's not that far off of GMK in terms of like sculpt. It reminds me a little bit more of like Topra, which has like a little bit more of an aggressive sculpt on row 4. Other than that, it performs like kind of similar to GMK, I've noticed. It's just like a thinner profile, and obviously it looks a little different. But in actual typing, it's really not that different from GMK in my experience. I like it quite a bit. Alright, we got the poll up. What do we got here? Let me take a look at this. Vote on this poll, guys. Please, 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 at the top of your chat. And we can figure out what caps to put on here. Yeah, Nightfall and Lich haven't actually even seen a board yet. These are both completely unused sets. 8008, Cyan, and Dual Shot. I actually I have all these on boards right now. We'd have to take these off of other boards. Dual Shot is on my my Polaris. Cyan is on my IDB60, and 8008 is on my Mechanisk Type X. Vote now, guys. Vote now on the poll. Wow, Cyan with a huge lead right now. What the heck? Cyan is old school. I have the alphas. I love to find mods. You just have the alphas? You don't have the rest of the set? I like the set quite a bit. It's a little old school. It's one that people often forget about. It's actually one of like probably my 5 or definitely in my top 10 GMK sets. I think it's really underrated. Alright, this poll still has a little bit of time left. I want to say roughly 2 minutes. Maybe a little bit less. So make sure to get that vote in now, guys. Looks like 8008 and Dual Shot are like not even in contention, which is understandable. Although I think they would be okay options on this board. Cyan in the lead at 8. Nightfall, DCS behind at 5, followed by Lich at 4. So looks like one of those is going to be your final 3. Let's get DCS Nightfall on this board. Maybe I could do both. We'll see. We'll see how much I have time for. The assembly process on this took me a little longer than I was expecting because I genuinely thought for like 20 minutes that I was missing screws. I was like convinced that I didn't have all the hardware I needed for this board. But thankfully I did. Kind of want to change my vote after you said Nightfall hasn't been used yet. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes. Maybe we can do like a faster, shorter poll with the top 2. Because 5 options is kind of a lot, even though 2 of them have no votes. Cyan still ahead at 9 votes to DCS Nightfall's 6, and Cat Lich is 4. So it looks like Cat Lich is out. Let me grab my IDB60 because I'm going to have to take the caps off that if Cyan wins. Alright, Cyan wins. So there we go. That's what we're going to go with. We might play around with it. We might still get Nightfall on here. We'll see. We'll see. go ahead and transfer some keycaps over. If I recall, I actually... here we go, yeah. My right, which I guess I don't need for this board, but my right control, this is one of the 2 caps in my collection, including the 6 on my DMG that I've actually accidentally tapped with a soldering iron. So there's like a very like tiny like burn mark kind of on the top of my DMG 6, as well as my 1.5U control. This one's probably a little bit worse, honestly. Yeah, you can actually even see it. So that's kind of unfortunate, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. But at least I won't need that cap on this build. I think cyan could look pretty good on here, though. This should be pretty good. This is another board that might get rebuilt in the near future, too. Even though I'm actually kind of happy with this one. Cursed Home Row? Cursed Home Row? Is it? Am I crazy? Did I do something wrong? Cyan is the boring, obvious choice. It was the most voted for choice. I can't run a poll and then not do it. But if we have time for it, depending on how I feel after all this, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we can put Nightfall on there as well. These caps need to get washed. I need to get a new ultrasonic cleaner that I use specifically for caps. Oh, what board is this? This is the IDB60. This is a plateless PCB mount, 2-piece custom, and the PCB is kind of like mounted on with tabs like around the edge, sort of. It's a very flexy kind of typing experience. It's quite nice. Sounds lovely. It's a very classic PCB mount kind of sound and feel, but in a 60% custom. It was also very inexpensive. This was like I think it was like a $140 kit or something. So it was like kind of in that same vein of inexpensive budget builds, if you will. I think Nightfall would work better. Well, I mean, so do some other people, but this is the one that won. So we got to at least try this one first. All right. You have executive power here, you can veto. I know, but like, why run the poll? People obviously voted for this. This is how all American politics work, that's true. But the American political system is fucked. Absolutely. Our political system is like from the 1800s, right? It's like centuries old. It's not working for us. But that's not what we're going to talk about today, because that'll just get me way more angry than I'd like to be. Dumpster fire is right. This is a political stream now, Kappa? Oh, no. No. J-Chef says, not really an IDB 60 build stream, but is that 7 key out of alignment, or is it just me? Could be. Could be slightly. Oh, that's a switch that you have to flip because of the USB port. So maybe that has like some kind of effect on orientation slightly. I don't know. It looks pretty darn close to me, but it's possible that it's, you know, slightly off. Sometimes the woes of a plateless build. So Cyan's looking pretty good on here, as expected. But since so many of you wanted to see Nightfall, I think we'll maybe have to dabble in that as well. Just making sure I wasn't going crazy. No, you're not going crazy. Don't worry. You can even see here this particular switch is flipped. Anybody know what switches these are? You might not actually be able to tell because of the lighting on stream. Hint, they are not Gateron yellows. Alright, what do I need here? I don't know if this set actually has a control for this spot, because this is kind of an older set, and like, they didn't really used to do that. We'll put the alpha tilde there, and unless this set has a mod one, then I'll probably put that there. I think this might have been like the round 2 of Cyan, though, because it does have a little bit more compatibility than the round 1 did, which had virtually nothing. Oh, we do have a 1.5 control. Nice. Okay, so we might actually have a lot of compatibility here. Backspace. I'll go with codes, I guess. So we need, wait, where did my enter? There we go. So we need one more code, and we need backslash, forward slash, backslash. There we go. Aha, there we go. Do we have a... Oh, we do have a mod. Okay. Sorry if you guys are triggered by this, but I roll with mod pipe until and that kind of stuff, so... Matching colors. Kinda nice, right? Glow in the dark with yellow stems? Nope. Nope, it's not a Franken switch. I don't think anyone in here could tell me what those switches are, honestly. I know what they are, but if any of you could tell me, I would have been really surprised. I'll give you guys one more look at them. It's a full Milky switch. Any of you guys can tell me what switches these are, you get extra credit in chat. Which doesn't mean much. But... Okay. Oh, it's so light. I'll have to play around with the lighting later. But let's go ahead and see what this sounds like, shall we? Oh, what the heck? Is this a... Oh my gosh, it is. This is a row 3 1U code key. I had no idea this set actually had a row 3 1U code key. Alright. Okay, I need to find the row 4 one. Give me a second, guys. I don't know what happened here. What board uses row 3 1U code? Because I'm not sure what board uses that. But I'm imagining there's another 1U in here. That's row 4. It's just a matter of finding it. U4T? Isn't that a switch? Or is that a board? Almost missed the stream. Hey, Knox, how you doing? I'm currently looking for my 1U code or Windows key in row 4, because apparently I have it in row 3, which is kind of interesting. Oh, that's not even row 3. Is that row 2? Oh, no, that's 3. Okay. It's got to be here, right? I'm not going crazy. We will find this. There it is. Yep, that's row 4. Okay. Definitely curious to see not only how this sounds, but how the sounds might change based on adding in the weight as well as tape mod. Any mod tilde avail? Oh, we got it. Don't you worry. Look at this beautiful, brilliant mod tilde. We got some other mod tilde lovers in chat. I'm okay with that. All right, let's do a quick sound test here. Those yellow switches, Kale box? No, they're not Kale box. Nobody got this, and I think I understand why. I feel like very few people probably remember these. These were a special run of Gateron Milky switches by Exclusive, who did like the E6 V2 and boards like that. And these stems, it's kind of hard to tell because of the lighting, but these are actually not yellows. These are actually orange. So it's like a very kind of like light orange switch that had like a custom spring in it. I mean, it's really not that different from like other recolored Gaterons, but it had like some upgrades. But like it was only one run that didn't really sell like a ton. Scammed by lighting, I know, right? The OG FF cheese or whatever? No, they're not. They're not those. These were definitely from at least like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. All right, let's take this for a test drive, shall we? Okay. Might swap out this switch. There's a little rattle in this one, little spring ping perhaps. Overall, this actually sounds not only better than I was expecting, but a lot different than I was expecting. It's a little hollow, which makes sense because we don't have the tape mod on, we don't have a dampener in there, we don't have a weight in there, we have nothing else in there. So this is au natural. I kind of like this top row a lot. This feels really nice, actually. The spacebar sounds pretty fun. Very cool. All right, that's actually not as nearly as bad as I was expecting. Very cool. Okay, so we have options now, guys. We have options. Let me put the music back on while we contemplate options. So I gotta drop some frames earlier. Is the stream okay for everyone? Is the stream working? Looks like it was having some issues earlier, but I didn't notice. Hopefully it's doing okay now, though. Yeah, that sounded all right, actually. I'm not upset about that at all. All good right now? Okay, cool. Okay, so here are the options, guys. I have a weight for this board. We can add in the internal weight. Also, could try the tape mod. Or we could do both. What do you guys think? Do we just ball out, do the tape mod, and put the weight in? Or do we just do one of them? What do you guys think? I want to know your thoughts. One way or another, we're changing something though, for the heck of it. And I think we're going to be starting by opening it up either way. So one at a time. Do weight without tape mod first? Okay, we'll just do the weight first. Actually, let me take the weight out of my other board before I open this one. That way I don't have two open boards on my desk at the same time. One at a time. All right, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. So we have some hex on this one. This is a round one, so it's not cool enough to enjoy the Torx screws that happened from the later runs. I feel like kind of oxidizing on the top too. That's interesting. This is a hefty board. You probably get this question a lot. What is the story behind the mouse pad and where do you get it? Actually, ironically, this is the first time I've even had it on stream. I just got it pretty recently. This is actually, I think it's currently available over on Faki's website. Oh, it's not plugged in. I can't link. Can a mod or someone else link the this desk pad? I know it's on iWinA's website. I think it's still in stock. Quakemz.com. It's just a really cute mouse mat. And it's not the lighting playing tricks on you either. There's like actually a gradient to the mouse pad. It's lighter over here, then it gets deeper and darker over there. By the way, first time chatter, welcome. Hope you're doing well. We're just harvesting the weight from this particular board. There we go. Nice. And if you're wondering why there's electrical tape here, it's because in the round 1 of the M60A, there was like a very minor tolerance issue between the weight and the case that allowed it to kind of like jiggle a little bit, and it didn't affect functionality at all. It still worked. It was still a weight, obviously. It just had a little bit of rattle if you were moving it around, but that was very easily fixed with just a couple strips of electrical tape. But yeah, if you like this desk mat, I highly suggest picking it up from Quakemz, because even though they're not a sponsor, Iwane is a mod of the channel, and he is a freaking awesome person and an awesome vendor, and you should definitely buy from him whenever you get the chance. Supporting good people is always great. Okay, so we have the weight here, and I'll probably need these screws as well, because I don't think there were any in here to begin with. Budget Rama X logo. It wasn't even intentional. It wasn't even intentional, I promise. Oh, it's getting warm in here. It's kind of a warm day. It gets hot in my office too. Come on. Okay. I probably won't need the tape for this. I imagine these tolerances are probably fine, since that was just kind of a round 1 issue. But I'm assuming the weight works in this. Do I have to... I might actually have to unplug this JST real quick. Try this again. Okay. This is definitely going to be a lot heavier with the weight. I think the weight alone weighs more than the entire board. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but... Okay, this one doesn't have the clearance issues, so we're good. We're good. Let's go ahead and connect this bad boy back up. Oh, I gotta route the cable just a little differently to account for the weight. That's why it wasn't going in. There we go. That should be better. Nice. Okay. I was like, something is wrong here. Thankfully, we're good. I mean, you guys are always good, but I'm also good. 680 versus 830 grams. So the base kit of the Kara is 680 total, and then the weight is 830 alone. Because that wouldn't surprise me at all. This is seriously upping the weight of the board. Let's see how it changes the sound. So I actually kind of liked the way it sounds, though it was quite obviously a bit hollow. Another first-time chatter, OG Felix, hello, welcome. Okay, we still haven't tape modded yet. This is just with the weight, but let's give this a quick sound test as well. See if this changes anything. Base plus weight is 1510. Fair enough. Alright. Alright guys, so this is with the weight, still no tape mod. The weight is the only thing we've changed so far. So it's definitely noticeably less hollow with the weight. The spacebar in particular changed quite a bit. The spacebar almost sounds like more metallic. I think Jeff Leopard hit the nail on the head here. I think the alphas sound a bit better. Spacebar sounds less interesting. I don't know if I'd say less interesting. Maybe less interesting. Maybe you're right. It definitely sounds different. I don't think it's particularly bad. Yeah, it definitely sounds a little less hollow with the weight. It was kind of quirky before, but in a good way. Yeah, I agree. I think... I don't think it's necessarily better or worse with the weight, honestly. I think it's just a little different. Alright, do we tape it? Do we finally try the tape? Do we just do it? What do you guys think? I think we pretty much have to try it, to be honest with you. Tape. I didn't even know you were still here, Chroma. you just been waiting on the tape mod. Yeah, I mean, this is not as wide as I'd like it, so it's going to take probably like 5 or 6 passes with the tape, as opposed to just like 2 or 3, but that's okay. That's okay. Wow, this is so much heavier with the weight. It's like immensely heavier. Should we leave the weight in there, or should we take it out with the tape? What do you guys think? Do we just do both? What do you guys want to see? We could just add the tape and call it a day, or we could add the tape and take the weight out, or we could try it one way and then go back and try the other. Maybe without first. All right. So tape plus tape minus weight is kind of what it's sounding like. FF7 chop and screwed OST. Yeah. This playlist has a bunch of Final Fantasy tracks on it. It's amazing. Okay. So we can... Alright, we'll try it. We'll take the weight out first. Let me undo this JST. Take the weight out, and then we'll add some tape. I'm not even listening to these banging tracks, even though the station is particularly amazing. Alright, tape it is. Take out this side too, I guess. Should I just tape in here, or should I take this out to tape it? What would be easier? I guess it'd probably be easier to take out, huh? Do I need to unscrew it? Can I like legitimately just do this? Yeah, it's probably safer just to take it out. Guys, I have to pee so bad. So, I'm sorry, but I have to go use the restroom. Should be back in just a moment. Gotta wash my hands too, though, of course. Fill up my water while I'm at it, too. 2 birds, 1 stone. I'll be right back, guys. Don't worry. Stream's not over. I'll be right back. Jam out to the tunes. Back, guys. Don't worry. I know you were worried. Did everyone leave? Usually when I go take a piss, everyone leaves. But hey, my water bottle is full, my bladder is empty, and my hands are cleaner than a silver board with a beige key set. Alright, so I haven't really done the tape mod, really, honestly. So, I pretty much just tape the back of the PCB, right? Like, just straight up tape everywhere. Except for, you know, obviously the JST. This might take a little trial and error, but we'll see. See how this goes. guys. Hopefully this goes well. Otherwise, I'm gonna look real dumb. Do people even do this with hot swap? Is this even like a thing with hot swap? And is it supposed to be like tighter or looser? Because like I don't really know. I'm just winging it here, guys. Hopefully it works. I'm sure several of you in chat are probably way more versed than I am at this. So if you have any tips or tricks or things I should or should not be doing, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to try to match it up lengthwise with the PCB. I'm going to try to cover everything with like mostly one kind of strip each. So we'll probably use like 5 strips here, 4 to 5 strips. But let me know if you see me doing anything, you know, terrible. But I'm assuming this is more or less how the cool kids do it. And I mean, obviously I want to be a cool kid, so here we are. So while I don't know a ton about the tape mod itself, some things I do know are that A, it's very easy to do, B, it's very easy to undo, and C, it's incredibly inexpensive. And I'm a big fan of all of those things. Huge fan, like enormous fan of all of those things. Send me your energy, chat. I'm hoping for a good tape mod experience here, because this is going to be kind of like my first real tape mod experience. So hopefully this goes over pretty well. Does that look about right? Does that look good so far? Should I do this too? Should I add another layer down here? I gotta be honest, I haven't really seen a whole lot of streamers do this. I mean, in the sense of like, I haven't personally watched streamers do this, so I have no idea like what the actual like tech here is. We'll add a bit more down here. This is going to kind of double up the spacebar area, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing, and we'll hopefully find out. just joined, what are these high-level tape strats I'm unaware of? I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. So the tape mod is something. It's a much newer modification that a lot of people have been doing, including a lot of popular streamers, and it's something I haven't really tried yet. So this is kind of my first attempt at it. But apparently, the board will sound a lot better / potentially a lot different by doing this. So again, I haven't really experienced this yet, but a lot of people are really loving it, and a lot of people are doing it, and you know, it's very inexpensive, and it's easy to do, and it's, you know, just as easy, if not easier, to remove. I can just pull all this right off if I don't like it. So, you know, I think it's worth a try, right? And I think that I have to approach these kind of things completely unbiased, which is of course like what I always try to do anyways. So yeah, I definitely need to give this a try. What am I doing here? There we go. Wait. Try to remember how to do this now. Oh, it's because I have the caps on it this time. That's why it feels funky. I did it without caps the first time. Okay. But yeah, I'm not really entirely sold on the tape mod yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? I'm not taking the caps off to do this, so this is just going to have to be slightly more difficult for a second. Nice. Okay. It looks taped. Right. I mean, does the tape mod look pretty? Maybe not. But hopefully it really just delivers, you know? Hoping for the best here. Hoping for the best. Okay, so we're not adding the weight back in yet. We'll try it without the weight, with the tape, and then we can adjust as needed. Oops. Oh, we should probably add the JST back in. That's probably a good call. Turns out you need some kind of electrical power to use this keyboard. Shit, maybe we still have time to do to try DCS on it. If anyone here still wants to see what the board's like with DCS Nightfall. Damn, I guess it's time to take apart like 10 keyboards. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, right? To me, like, even though I haven't even really tried it at all yet, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where if it alters sound too much, you kind of start to lose a lot of the characteristics from the keyboard itself. And this is kind of the problem I have with a lot of foam as well. It's not that I'm like adverse to using foam or I think it shouldn't exist in keyboards or anything, But, you know, you gotta remember, you're paying a lot of money for these specific keyboards and their particular designs. When you start adding a lot of stuff like foams and other things, it's, in my eyes at least, this is just personal opinion obviously, but it starts to take away a lot of the soul of the keyboard, right? It no longer sounds or feels necessarily like the keyboard that it was supposed to. It starts to feel more generalized, like other boards with foams. And I worry that tape is going to be kind of like the next foam-esque trend. With that said, I still am looking forward to this. So let me pause my music real quick. You got excited by putting the one DCS cap on, so if you're feeling frisky, that's fair. I did get pretty excited. Okay, so here we go. Here's the tape mod. Let's see how big the difference is. Okay. That's a pretty big difference. Okay, I'll say straight off the bat, it's different. The tape absolutely has an effect on it. With that said, it very much reminds me of foam. Just maybe a bad and a good thing, depending on who you are and how you feel. Does it affect the feel at all? I don't think I notice a difference in feel personally. The sound, absolutely. I mean, the sound feels more focused, but it also feels like a little bit more dampened, absorbed. I don't know. It really does remind me of foam, where it kind of just like, it sounds more like airy. Like it's like deeper, but also more airy. I guess it's like a little thockier. If I'm being honest, I kind of miss the kind of interesting characteristic that the board sounded like without the tape. This makes it sound a lot more like foamed boards. Which, if you like that sound a lot, then obviously that's a really good thing. But if you're like me and you find the sound just kind of expected, okay, mediocre, not very interesting. It's not like a bad sound, right? It's not like boards with foam sound bad or are bad. It's just a very expected, like almost universal sound when you type on like a fully foamed board. And I feel like this feels, it sounds kind of like we're using plate foam here. So I'm not sold on the tape mod yet. With that said, I do plan to get some different tapes, and we'll try it with different boards. We'll probably make an entire like stream out of it where we'll just take like 3 or 4 or 5 boards and like a few different kinds of tape, and we'll play around and we'll see you know, if the style of tape or the thickness of tape or whatever can make like a big difference. But this is about what I expected out of the tape mod. I will say though that like it was kind of touted to me as the tape mod being something you wouldn't necessarily do on nicer boards. It's something you would do on like less expensive boards that don't necessarily sound as good. So this kind of tightens that up a bit, focuses the sound a little bit, deepens it a bit, which, you know, people tend to appreciate more overall, I would say, in terms of like sound characteristics in the hobby. People tend to like those deeper, thockier tones, you know, those crisper sounds, and I can see why this would be popular. It doesn't really sound that different to foam in this instance, so I will say that. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Should I try it with the weight? The weight might affect it as well. I'm really not sure. We can try adding in the weight. I'll leave the foam in now. I think I need to use the foam for at least not foam, sorry. It's tape, obviously. I'm holding tape, but I say foam still. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold on to this and use this for a while and kind of gather more experience, as it were. I wonder if duct tape will work. I have no idea. Really generic sound with tape. Yeah, it's pretty generic. Again, not bad, just generic. Seems masking tape should be used, I guess. It's the paper material. Yeah, masking tape was, like, apparently people are using, like, all sorts of different kinds of tape. There were even people in my server that were talking about using, like, packing tape, like just clear packing tape, and that were apparently seeing favorable results. So I don't know. I've seen masking tape, a couple different kinds of, like, different kinds of masking tape, like painting tape and stuff. Duct tape could be fine. I don't know if I want to use something like that adhesive, though. I think the benefit of stuff like masking tape is, like, the adhesive is pretty mild, right? Like, it's not hard at all to just peel all this tape right off. With duct tape, you might struggle a little bit. Maybe you'll accidentally pull a component off. Maybe you'll leave a lot of residue there, so I don't know. I probably wouldn't try duct tape, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll try to you know, do a little information sourcing and see what people are using and see what people are liking, and, you know, maybe we can pick up a couple things. But I imagine, like, the paper style stuff is favorable. Foam interferes with typing feel in some cases. Tape probably will not. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. No residue to peel off. Yeah, exactly. All right, should we add the weight in and try it again, or should we just put on some DCS, or should we do both? What time is it? I've been live for 3 hours now. I guess I have time for this. Do weight. Okay, we'll do the weight, and then we'll try it, and then we'll throw on some DCS and we'll try it again. This is very much a how are we tuning this Kara stream. But I am kind of curious to try it with the DCS now, though. Ever since I put that first cap on and pressed it a couple times, it was quite different. Weight and DCS. All right, we'll do it. We'll put Nightfall on here. Especially if Stray Chroma's still here, we're absolutely putting Nightfall still on it. Because I remember she wanted to see it. Hey Deb, how you doing, man? We're playing around with the Kara today. I have a weight I want to put in mine. The weight definitely took away some of the hollowness. Like the weight alone, even without the tape, took away a decent amount of the hollowness that the board otherwise kind of has. Personally, hollowness doesn't always bother me. I think the sound of this board is actually kind of unique. And it's like kind of okay to not like have to modify. But I mean, these days a lot of people are really into foam, and obviously this tape mod now, and you know, obviously Rama sells not only weights but internal dampeners specifically for this kind of series of board. So it's pretty clear that, you know, people want to alter characteristics of boards. I am sometimes less of a fan of it. The base is so much heavier with the weight. Oh my gosh. Okay, we gotta kind of route this cable a bit. There we go. Making progress, guys. Indeed, some tape. We added some tape. This is my first, what I'm gonna call my first genuine tape mod experience. Assuming I did it correctly, which I think I did. Oh, wait a minute. This hasn't clipped in yet. What the heck am I doing? I thought it clipped. There we go. Seeing it through the bottom. Aesthetics, I guess. I mean, it's blue tape and the board is blue, so totally intentional, right? All right, let's take another whack at the sound and see what happens. And then putting on Nightfall. Sounds worse with the weight. I kind of agree, actually. I think the weight's going to come out. The weight's going to come out, and it's going to go back into the M60, I think. Honestly, I think the board sounded its most interesting without the tape and without the weight. Was it a perfect sound? No, not necessarily. But it was a unique sound. It was a sound to this board and this configuration alone. And yeah, I think while the tape mod was probably okay on its own, I think that together with the weight, it just doesn't sound as good. It does sound a little deeper, a little cleaner, but that's not necessarily always better. Now it really does sound like a board that's been, like, tinkered with to try to, like, make the sound better. But, like, it didn't really necessarily have that effect. No tape and weight was the best. Interesting. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it all natural first. I think it was fine with the weight. I think the spacebar was a little... The spacebar, either way, is a little too metallic with the weight. Like, you really notice the difference. Yeah. I think the weight's gonna come out. Let's go ahead and put some DCS on, though. We'll type with some DCS and see what that's like in this configuration. And then maybe we'll take it out and try it without. I should probably take these off first. How you guys doing so far? Everyone holding up all right? What the heck is this? This is a 10U spacebar? I didn't even realize this came with it. What the hell? That's awesome. Down with tape, put it into the fire with switch films and band-aids. I wouldn't go that extreme. I think switch films and band-aid mod both have their place, and I think tape, probably in the same vein, it has its place. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the end-all be-all for every board, nor should it, but I think it absolutely has its place, and it really does. Like, it's not just, like, bad. I think it's just situational. I'm not fully sold on tape on this board. But maybe other boards it's better. I don't know. Does it actually change the way the keyboard sounds? Yes, it was quite noticeable, by the way. Oh, what's up, Frostfire? How was the assembly process? It took me a second because I wasn't... I thought I was actually missing some screws at first, but I don't think I am. I think I was just being silly. So it was probably a little slower than some, but we got there. For the last like hour or so, we've kind of just been testing the board with and without tape mod, with and without weight, tape mod and weight. And we tested with GMK, and now we're moving over to DCS. And that'll probably be the last thing I do, honestly, because I'm getting a little tired and hungry. I might take out the weight, though. I might take out the weight before the typing. I'm not really sure. I think the weight is not the play in here. I wish I had a dampener, like the Rama official Rama dampener. I'd love to try that in here versus the weight. I can't believe this set has a 10U spacebar. That's awesome. Okay. Sprinkles make a sundae. Long boy. That's right. We're just going for the dinky 7U. Yeah. That face when you show up with a 7U. It's like you versus like the guy she tells you not to worry about, right? Just when you thought 7U was good enough. Good old DCS. Thoughts so far about the board? I think it's coming together pretty well. I'm not sure if there's... Let's put the caps lock on here, because I'm actually not sure if there's a 1.75 control in this set. We'll also try without accents first, and then we'll set some accents aside just to look at. We'll try those later. Thoughts about the board so far? I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty cool board, a very unique board. Yeah, definitely like a very unique board. I need more time with it before I have like final opinions, though, you know. Next week I should have like better composed thoughts of how I feel on the board. But so far I'm definitely liking it. I think it definitely has a lot of interesting character. DCS is such a fun profile, man. So fun. Alright. Oh, we do have a 175 control. Poggers. I tried it with some Gat Yellows and enjoyed it a lot in the short time I was able to use it. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm definitely not unhappy with it. I think it has some potential, and it's definitely, like, you can adjust it quite a bit based on things like the tape mod, and we've been trying the weight as well in and out of it. So it's definitely, like, a highly, like, moddable kind of board, which is kind of nice. This is a very interesting version of this song. These are tactiles, yeah. These are Okamochis, which actually came out even better than I was expecting. I think I did a... I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I did a pretty good job lubing them. Because obviously I'm the best. This actually is looking not too bad. I was kind of expecting this set not to go well with this board, but then I remembered I don't like really care that much about colors, and I just kind of appreciate things for what they are. And it certainly made the hobby a lot more enjoyable. A lot less drama. So much drama these days is centered around the colors of things. It's like, wow. Like, I'm passionate about things too. I guess I'm just not passionate enough about colors. I care about other characteristics of keyboards way more. Oh, we have the legendary two-lined backspace. God, DCS is such an underrated profile, man. DCS Sleeper is in stock on drop. Which one's Sleeper? Is that the one that's kind of like muted or whatever? Or kind of like Modern Dolch, one of the two, that everyone was kind of like freaking out about? Kind of broke right now, though. Yeah, I feel that. Clay333 is asking, how do you feel about the Midway 60? I've been following it since IC and managed to pick it up on a reroll of a raffle. I'm hyped. The Midway 60. I don't know if I've seen that one much yet. Let me take a look. I know I've heard of it. I don't really remember what it looks like, though. And Nightfall actually doesn't look too bad on here. DCS in general is kind of interesting, but because it's a thinner profile, you actually do get like a little bit more gap, at least from what it seems like, between the keys, which is kind of beneficial on a board where you have like SMD RGB like this, because you get a little bit more shine through on a lot of these caps, which is kind of cool depending on how you like things. We could do accents as well. I think it's kind of nice without the accents personally. I have Sleeper. I do this one from I1A2. Yeah, this is a nice set. I like. It's just like it's kind of neutral, right? It's a very nice neutral set. Ooh, ooh, exciting. All right, what are they looking for? Midway. Midway 60. All right. It looks like a 60%. I mean, it looks pretty nice. I'm trying to see if there's anything like particularly special about it. Comes in win keyless, HHKB and win key, 7-degree angle, 6063 aluminum, brass weight, nice navy color option. Half and full plates, aluminum and polycarbonate. 60% uses the daughter board. O-ring sandwich mount. Yeah, I mean, it's it looks like it's one of those 60% that checks all the boxes for all the popular 60% features right now. Yeah. I mean, it looks nice, and I bet it'll perform well enough. I don't really see anything wrong with it, anything bad about it. Really enjoy the pronounced theme. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and type a little bit on this, shall we? See how this sounds. Again, this still has the tape mod, and it still has the weight. The weight is something I'm probably gonna take out and put it back in my M60, where I think it benefits a little bit more. Let's go ahead and try this. So we were using GMK Cyan on here. Now we have DCS Nightfall. So here's the sounds. Huh. I think I like that more than the GMK on here, if I'm being totally honest. It is a very interesting sound. Even with the weight, it's actually... like, I like this better. I definitely like this better in this configuration with the DCS versus the GMK. I really do. The spacebar sounds like a lot more natural and a lot less metallic with the DCS versus the GMK. Which is kind of interesting, considering it still has the weight either way. Maybe I should take the weight out and try it again. Take the weight out? I should just take the weight out, huh? Try it. It might actually be better without the weight. This is taped and weight. Yes, Frostfire. Take J-Shuff out? I would never. It's like one of the nicest guys in the community. I want that guy to stay. I'm gonna put the accents away. I think I'm just not gonna use them here. With that said, I really do think the DCS just... it really does just sound better in this board, I think, than the GMK that we've tried so far. So that's how I feel about that. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll take the weight out, because that'll be quick. That'll be quick. We'll just take the weight out and we'll see how we like it. But I actually thought this whole configuration right now that it has DCS Nightfall on it, I think this was pretty good. Very, very happy with that. But just in case, on the off chance it's a little bit better without the weight, I think we need to try it. I think it's definitely going to be a bit louder without the weight. I think that's going to be kind of expected. I meant on a date, you edgelord. Oh my gosh, you're right. You're right. I should have assumed that. I'd love to take J-Shuff out on a date. I would bet him and I would have a lovely night together. Nice meal. I wouldn't use the weight in this board, but only because the weight costs more than half the price of the kit. That's totally fair. I already had the weight on hand because I had it from my Sequence 1 M60A. So that's like pretty much the only reason I tried it. I don't know if I'd necessarily buy it specifically for this board, especially knowing now that I kind of tend to prefer it, at least while the GMK was on it. I preferred it without the weight, not with it, so there's definitely that to consider. Alright, so weight is out. Only 4 screws for the case, so that's pretty awesome. It makes doing these kind of things a lot quicker. Going out with the weight. One day, J-Chef. One day. What do I think of the fit and feel of the board? I think it's fine. I think it's as expected of a board of this price range. It doesn't seem like a really high-end product, right? Like it does feel like a plastic product that you're kind of like putting together, clipping together, screwing together. Which isn't to say that it's like a bad thing, but like, you know, it doesn't feel like a $400 board. It feels like a $160 board, which it is, and that's totally fine. I wasn't expecting it to be like incredible. I was just hoping that it was going to be good for the price, which I'd say so far it seems on par or better than the price. Oh yeah, it's already better. All right. Oh crap. Just punched the mic. Sorry guys if that was loud. Alright, so here we go. Tape mod still on there, but we took the weight out. So no weight, DCS Nightfall, and there's tape on there. I think this is better. This is definitely better without the weight. I'm still unsure of the tape mod, but I think for the sake of science and experimentation, I have to leave the tape mod on and play around with it for at least a week. DCS so good, it really is. DCS just sounds better than GNK, at least on this board. It's definitely a bit poppier, which I appreciate. The tape mod deadens the sound a little bit, which, sure, it makes it deeper. Sure, it kills a bit of the echo, the kind of hollowness, I guess, the board that it naturally sort of has. But at the same time, it kind of removes a little bit of the liveliness from the sound of the board as well, right? It kind of neutralizes a little bit to get that deeper, slightly more dampened sound from the tape mod. So, I mean, it's a give and tape. Give and tape, you see what I did there? I think the tape mod is overall an interesting thing, and I'm glad people are doing it and enjoying it. I don't think it belongs on everything, definitely based on this experience, but I think it can definitely benefit some boards based on this experience as well. I'll probably wind up using the tape mod on this for about a week, and I'll take it off, maybe like 2 weeks, and I'll take it off. But yeah, I definitely plan to do a stream where we do more tape we do different tapes on different boards, and we kind of see how that works. We'll try maybe some more entry-level boards. Maybe we'll try a couple nicer boards, and we'll just kind of see what tape can do based on other factors as well. So yeah, I think that's gonna start to wrap it up for me today, guys. We're gonna find someone to raid. If you guys have any last-minute questions, please get them in now. And I can answer those before I head off. But don't go anywhere. Stick around for the raid, and we'll go say hi, hello, and hopefully something nice to one of the lovely streamers online right now. I'm not actually sure who's online right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. I totally agree about the tape mod, says Rice Pixer. It takes character out of most boards. Exactly, right? It fills a role that is very similar to foam, right? Where that's what you want from the foam too. You want it to kind of like deepen the sound, you know, make it thockier, make it more like even or neutral or whatever you want to call it. But the reality is that it really does kind of take away some of the soul of the board, and that could be good in some boards potentially, but it's definitely not like a universal positive as far as I'm concerned. With that said, I think it works totally fine in this board. I think it was just a more interesting sound without the tape personally. But it's definitely a cleaner, deeper, airier, more focused sound to you, like this. It does remove a bit of the hollowness as well. But yeah, I think one thing that we learned today is that the weight, I definitely don't prefer the weight in there in any of the configurations. I think the weight was just not as good in here in terms of sound only. Because obviously it makes the board feel heavier, and that could be a pro or a con based on who you are. I don't really care personally. The weight of a board never bothered me one way or the other. Thanks for tuning in, J Chef. I appreciate it, man. It was indeed a fun evening. I appreciated you guys hanging out with me. Let's see who's online here. Who has like very few viewers? Keeb Noob, Disastertron, both good targets for a raid. A Twitch stream raid. See who else is on here. Time for bed in the EU. Thanks for a good stream. You're welcome, man. Thank you so much for hanging out and subscribing as well. Really appreciate it. I know it's very late for you, or early, I guess, depending on where you are. But probably late if you're going to bed. So very, very much appreciate it, guys. To everyone else, please just hang on and let's go over and raid someone. Trying to find someone I've never raided before. I found someone. Okay. They are. I have no idea who this is. Never watched them before. We're going to raid them. They only have a few viewers right now, and it's always cool to boost those numbers. They are. Okay. So yes, strap yourselves in, guys. Let's go over this raid. Make sure to say something nice. Just say, you know, hello, or, you know, how you doing, or something wholesome and lovely. And I'm going to go do that as well. So, again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on another installment of Mental Health Monday. I think the board came together quite well. Hopefully you guys did as well. We tried a lot of different things, and I think we came to some definitive conclusions on a few of them. For the rest of those experiences, we'll have to wait until next week when I use this after a week and kind of develop more thoughts about it, and we move on to the next project, which I'm unsure what's going to be next week, but we'll definitely have something. We definitely will have something. Alright, guys, so I'm going to start this raid. Queue up for this. And let's go say something wholesome. And I'm going to go find some food. That's what I'm going to do. Alright, guys. Get on board for this raid, and let's head over. Thank you all so much once again for watching another Mental Health Monday. Tune in next week, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific. Also tune in this coming Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. We should have a nice stream for you there as well. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.